Hey there, it's Laurel. Welcome to another video. Today I am part of an amazing video hop. My friend Laura Sturks is celebrating 10,000 YouTube subscribers over on her YouTube channel, and she's put together this amazing hop with so many guest artists and so many sponsors. Check out all these sponsors, and with sponsors I mean loads of prizes. To enter the giveaway, you need to be sure to leave a comment on all of the Hoppers videos. Each of us will link below in the YouTube description a link to the next person on the hop. All the information can be found over on my blog, which is also linked below as well. So be sure to check it out. Congratulations, Laura. This is the card that I'm going to be making in the video today. When I think of Laura, I just think of bright colors. She always puts sequins on her cards. So I'm sure she's going to have a sequins, like 500 of them on her card today because she's my little sequins girl. I just love her. But I always think of bright, bold colors. So I decided to pull out my gelato. So anytime I use gelatos, I always prime my cardstock first with gesso. Kind of like you prime your walls before you paint. You want to do that with your gesso. I'm using this Bravo stamp set from Casual Fridays. I'm going to make this a birthday card here. So I'm using my mini Misty. I've already mounted the stamp there up there on the Misty, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it down. I use my Misty anytime I do sentiments because I always mess up. I always like partially ink it, or I don't press hard enough on my block, so the Misty is just the way to go. And I use that Versamark pigment ink. It's black, so I'm able to sprinkle on some embossing powder and heat set that. So I'm really going to have a nice, bold, crisp sentiment, especially since I'm about to put a whole bunch of color on this card. 98% of the time, my cards always start with the white card base. And this is my ridiculous amount of gelatos that I have in my inventory. I just love these guys. These are like creamy little chapsticks. They're fantastic. My son loves using them. I can't wait to introduce them to my daughter when she doesn't put them on, like, you know, when she doesn't think they're lipstick. Because everything to her, like in a tube form like this, is whipstick, as she calls it. So anyway, so I'm going in with these pinks. When I think of Laura again, I think of those as pastel colors or bright colors, and of course sequins. But I'm an ink splatters girl. She's a sequins girl. It's what she's so good at. So I'm sure there's sequins on her cards, like I said. So my vision was a bunch of rectangles. Can you see how there's some rectangles there? That was where I was going, but that's not where it winds up. You know, I don't know. I just don't know. So gelatos react to moisture. You can blend them with a damp cloth, a baby wipe, a paintbrush. I'm using my finger. It's free, for one, and it was just easy. And I've just kind of put a little puddle of water down on my craft sheet, and I'm just using that to keep my finger wet because it dries out quite a bit. And I'm just blending it. Now, because I primed my cardstock with that gesso, these gelatos are blending like butter. No problems at all. If you kind of skip over that step, which I've done, you know, I've definitely done it because, you know, I'm trying to speed things along, but you're working real hard to blend those gelatos and it's just not pulling together like you want it to. So I definitely recommend you try to use some gesso, and there's a ton of different gessos out there on the market. So my rectangles are starting to go away. And then I'm looking at this green and I'm going, what in the world did you put that green on? It has no business there. There should have been pinks and purples. Why'd you put green in there? So I'm messing around. You can see some of that green's just kind of disappearing. I'm going over it with different colors, and I'm just getting rid of that green. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, I needed a second cup of coffee when I made this card. So again, I'm just going to go in and keep playing until I get a look, until I get the colors that I want, where I want them to be, and whatever. I just keep messing around until I like how it looks. I'm not following a guide. I'm not following any coloring rules. It's just not how I roll. I wish I was different, but it's just not. Now, because I heat emboss that sentiment, all of the gelato that I'm putting down is resisting off that sentiment, so I'm able to wipe the gelato that's sitting on top of that heat emboss sentiment away, and then that crisp image of that sentiment is just shining through, and I just love it. So I'm finishing off here by adding in a little bit more pink. I'm just messing around some more until I'm satisfied with how it looks. And I like it, and I really think it's cool that it started off with a white piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? So gelatos are really a lot of fun. You just scribble. You know, scribble and blend, or you can watercolor with them. You can take them and color them directly onto your stamps and spritz the stamp with water and stamp with them. I have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel using gelatos and different ways to use them, so I encourage you to check it out. So like I said, I'm an ink splatters girl, and I'm sure you guys, if you watch me, you're sick of all my ink splatters on my cards, but it's just what I do. I don't know why. So I'm using the gelatos to create a little palette there, and I'm doing some flicking on some ink splatters as well. but I thought it was a little bit too intense, so I took my, that's a microfiber cloth, but you could use a paper towel or whatever you have on hand. I just bought like a 50 pack off of Amazon, so I always have microfiber cloths because I certainly don't use them to dust my house because who wants to clean? So I use them in my craft room. It's funny, my neighbor was talking about the press and seal, and I'm like, that's awesome. I have that in my craft room. Oh, you have it in your kitchen? I have it in my craft room. I don't have that in my kitchen. Anyway, so I'm going in at what I do, red, black, white, and just gave you some ink splatters. And if that wasn't enough, I'm taking some gesso, and I've seen Jill Foster do this many times, and I've kind of adopted this from her. She goes on and swipes on some of that gesso. Gesso is also a great way to tone down your color or to give it this mixed media feel or whatever, give it a wash. So I'm just going on and putting little swipes here and there with my finger. You could totally have left this off, but I thought it was fun, so why not, right? And I think this makes a fun, like festive, kind of like, you know, when you think of birthdays, you think of fun, you think of happy, you think of colorful, like confetti. So that's kind of, I don't know. I think that's where my vision was. I don't know. There's really no explanation for why I am the way I am. Ask my husband. I made another card. I'm going to show you in just a second, a much more subtle, clean and simple card using some gelatos as well. But I am going to round the corners of this card just to soften it up a little bit. And that's going to finish off this card. I mounted it to a white card base, by the way. And here's the other card that I made off camera, but that's just using gelatos as well. A couple different colors. I thought I'd kind of give you a little demonstration of how I did it. I just basically took the gelato and I just put it on the cardstock and I did a little twist to get that little circle there. See? So I thought that was fun. That kind of like reminds you of confetti, right? I don't know, whatever. So anyway, gelatos, they're so much fun. Laura, congratulations on your 10,000 subscribers. And remember, there's giveaways, there's prizes. Be sure to head on over to my blog. I have a lot more still photos of the projects I made today, all the information regarding how to win. And be sure to leave a comment on this video right here if you want to be eligible to win one of the prizes. And remember, check below in the description because you're going to find your link to the next hopper. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, I would sure love to have you. Then you can just click right there on that little subscribe me. You see it? I hope you guys have a great day.